Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Reset Channel, man. This is Leading in Life. I'm Brian Fitzpatrick. I am your host and founder of the Reset Channel. I'm a coach, a corporate trainer. I also happen to be a minister of the gospel of Jesus Christ, and I am glad about it. And so today I get to share something with you all that it just really has made a huge impression on me in my life once I got this revelation. And so our title is The Subtle Art of Saying No. The subtle art of saying no. And so I was reading an article recently, and Warren Buffett was talking about a group of mentees that he had. And he said that one of the things that he challenged them on was their ability to say no. He said that if you don't learn to say no, what's going to happen is you're going to find yourself robbed of the very opportunities that you're probably pursuing in your career, in your business, in your corporation, in your life, because you don't set boundaries. And so he began to really talk to them about the importance of using no as a way to set boundaries. He told them things like, hey, there are going to be people that are going to be coming after you. They're going to want you to serve on all these boards and do all of these different, volunteer for all these different community activities. Pick one or two things that you're really, really passionate about and rock those and really run with those. He said there's going to be investments that are going to come your way, and things are going to seem like on the surface that they line up, but it's going to be more prudent for you to pass and say no. And in that moment when I read that, that is where the subtle art of saying no came from, because I realized we struggle with saying no sometimes for a couple of reasons. Number one, we sometimes feel like we are going to be left behind. Number two, we feel like we're going to be left out. And then number three, we feel like that we're going to miss an opportunity that'll never come back again. So we feel like we're going to be left behind. And I mean, let's be honest. Who wants to be last? Who wants to be left behind, right? But sometimes when we are in a position where we're just running and we're just moving, and the speed of life is really ramped up really high, it's incumbent upon us to be able to push the brake, to be able to step back and look at things objectively and be able to really assess, is this something that I really need to get involved in? And I think that was really the spirit of what he was trying to convey to them. So sometimes we feel like we're going to be left behind. Sometimes we feel like we're going to be left out, right? And then there's other times where we honestly just feel like we're going to miss an opportunity that's going to pass us by and it's never going to come again. But I know this. My Bible says that God opens doors that no man can shut. And I just believe in my heart of hearts that what God has for me is for me. And because it is, then I may have to say no in that season, in that moment. But I just believe that if I continue the course and I continue to follow the path, that the word of God is true, that all things work together for my good, including the times where I have to say no. So we have to get comfortable with being able to say no. And one of the things that I realize in my own career, in my own life, and thing that I share with executive coachees all the time is that being overcommitted, listen to what I'm about to tell you now, that being overcommitted is often a sign that we have not done a good job at saying no. When we are quote unquote booked and busy to the point where we are stressed out, it is a sign that we have not done a good job at saying no. But we have to shift our mindset about this word no, because no is a statement all in and of itself, because no is an acknowledgement that we understand our capacity. So we have to shift from this place of being overcommitted and it being a sign that we've not done a good job at saying no. And we got to shift to this place of understanding that no can actually be an acknowledgement that we understand our capacity, that we understand how much we are capable of. I tell leaders all the time, Overestimation of our capacity will lead to procrastination. It will lead to us running from things. It will lead to us starting projects and not finishing them. It will lead to us breaking promises to our kids, breaking promises to our spouses and our loved ones, and not fulfilling commitments that we have made. And so we have to be able to have this great understanding of our capacity. And that takes a level of self-awareness. It takes a level of honesty and introspection in order for us to really wrap our minds around that. Because see, here's the thing, other than God, nobody knows you like you know you. You know what you will and what you won't commit to, how much time you're really willing to invest in things. And so I know we like to say, oh, I don't have time, I don't have time, I don't have time. Well, maybe the reason that you don't have time is because you, like many of us, have not done a good job at saying no to some things. And so saying no is also saying yes at the same time. Let me show you what I mean. So oftentimes when we say no to certain things, it is us acknowledging our capacity. And by acknowledging our capacity, now we're saying yes to other things and opportunities that probably in actuality are really more important. And those are the things that we really should be focusing on, because those are the things that matter most. So I want to share a few things with you, a few benefits to saying no. So number one, when we say no, we take ownership of our time and we begin to figure out ways to make the most of our time, right? And so time is a thing that we all grapple with. We're going to sleep so many hours. We're going to work so many hours. We're going to spend so many hours with family and all of this. And it's very common to hear people say, I don't have time. But time, y'all, is really about allocation. But it is also about understanding capacity. There's that word again. It is about understanding capacity. And if we want to be good at blocking time and managing time and being good stewards of our time, we got to understand our capacity. So if you want to make the most of your time, practice the art of saying no. Don't look at it as I got to give up this for that. No. Saying no, or my saying no in the moment, is me putting my focus, my time, and my energy on the things that are most important. Parents, you say no to your children probably pretty frequently. Why? Because you have a different level of insight. You have a different level of wisdom about the decisions and the things that they're thinking about doing, or the things that they desire to do. And you know that may not be the best course of action for them. So as their parents, it is incumbent upon you to help direct those actions, because you're teaching lessons that are going to last a lifetime, long after they're 18 and they're grown and gone and they got their own families and stuff like that. It's going to be those lessons in the no's that are really going to stick with them, are going to begin to shape the character of who they are. And so if we really want to maximize those moments, y'all, we got to do a better job at saying no. Number two, saying no actually helps you boost your focus, because it puts the focus on what's more important. I teach people using my reset model. It's the model that I use to coach people. The R in reset stands for renew your vision, right? I ask people this simple question. What is it that you want, and why is it that you want it? And it usually leads us down some twists and turns and different paths, and we end up analyzing a whole bunch of things, not just in what we started off talking about, but just in their life in general, right? And so it begins to bring awareness, right? So saying no brings awareness and focus to the things that matter most. Number three, saying no can help you move toxicity from your schedule and your daily life, right? And so many of us have heard this phrase, competing priorities. Competing priorities. Well, priorities only compete if we pit them against each other. Because if we draw a line in the sand, if we decide this is important now, this is what matters now, being at my kids' play is what matters now, then it becomes easier for us to say no to those things. Hey, can you jump on this last minute Zoom call? Da, da, da. Hey, I'd love to. I need you to give me a recap in the morning. I got to get over to the school. My kids in a production. I got to get over to the school. My kids playing in a game, or whatever the case is. Me and my wife are meeting for dinner. Whatever it is, y'all, saying no helps us set boundaries. That's number 4. So if we want to remove some of that toxicity from our day and from our schedule and from our life because of these competing priorities, we got to be able to say no and not put these priorities and pit them against one another, but rather we got to begin to focus on what is most important, what matters most right now, what matters most right now. And then when we start to do that, what's going to happen is we're going to get to this place where saying no is a way that we begin to show respect to ourselves, and it also shows respect to others. Because if I tell you no, when I know full well that I really can't commit and follow through on what I'm about to tell, because see, this is what we do all the time, right? We'll tell people, yeah, I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna do it. And then we end up doing it begrudgingly, and then or not doing it at all, and we end up letting somebody down, or we end up not following through, and that's not integrity, right? And so we want to live that kind of life of integrity where we're people that can be found trustworthy and faithful over assignments and tasks and things that we're asked to do. But definitely we want to be found faithful of the commitments that we make, right? So if we tell somebody we're coming to volunteer, don't overextend ourselves. And so saying no is a way that we can begin to show that respect for ourselves and that respect for the time and the things that other people have going on, right? All right, last thing. All right, understanding why it's important to say no helps us to live authentically. Let me say that again. Understanding the importance of saying no helps us to live authentically. Well, how do you mean? I'm glad you asked. One of the things that we often struggle with is getting sucked into this cycle or pulled into this place where we're trying to imitate and be like everyone else, right? When we're able to effectively say no, we're able to analyze who we are, what the expectations of people are, but live in the place of who God created us to be. That's where we're going to get our best results. That's where we're going to be most productive. That's where we're going to be the most impactful. That's how we're going to be the best husband. That's how we're going to be the best wife. That's how we're going to be the best father. That's how we're going to be the best mother. How? Through doing it through our unique design. That requires us saying no to all of these other things that would try to pull us away from that. I hope that makes sense to you. And so as we continue to go forward in this week, I want you to practice. I want you to practice this as a tool to help you refocus and prioritize. There's a few days left in the year. We're in December. So this is a good time to look at that to-do list, because I know y'all already thinking about 2023, right? You're already thinking about it. And so before you get too far down the road and you start filling your calendar up and you start filling that dance card up with all of these things, in addition to, let me say it like that, in addition to the things that you want to say yes to and the things that you want to get done, I want you to really consider, what are the things that I really need to say no to so that I can make the most of my time, so that I can boost my focus, so I can remove any toxicity, so that I can show respect to myself and others, and so I can live authentically as me. All right, y'all. See y'all next time.